Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Cindy from the Positively Altered podcast. I am your host, and I am also a chiropractic internist and nutritionist. And here we discuss everything health related: physical, spiritual, emotional, financial, personal. It doesn't matter as long as it can relate back to your health. And today is a big one. Today, my guest woke up with a headache, which a lot of us do. And as I joke, sometimes I feel people give me that headache, which may or may not be a fair statement. But what's really interesting is that headache led him down a path that most of us would be terrified by and struggle to become resilient as a result of. And I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you to stay tight and listen to our sponsors and come back to hear the story. But I'm going to tell you it's exactly that. Our guest is a phenomenal storyteller, and he moved me to tears on the podcast. So don't go away and return to learn how you can become better than you were yesterday.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? And we are back from the commercial break. My guest has his cup of something. It looks like Java in his hand if you are watching. I am sporting the water. This is Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. And I am super excited to introduce you to my guest today, the one, the only, Dan McQueen. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Cindy. Lovely to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I'm thrilled. I don't know if Dan McQueen sounds like a race car driver name or it almost sounds like a movie character name. I think there's a lot of roles you could play.
You got Steve McQueen and Lady McQueen, which give me some buoyed up vibe, but I try to bring my own vibe to it as well. You know what we do.
I love it. So I want to just dive right into a really fascinating story because I think that, actually I know that you experience something that a lot of us have every single day, and that's a headache. I wake up sometimes with a headache. Sometimes I say people give me a headache. That may or may not be fair, right? But you have a really interesting story that actually started with a headache.
Yeah, so I can take you back to 2014, living in jolly old London, England. Fish and tea, cup of tea, dare I say bad teeth. But I was working in tech, a company called Hootsuite, working post-sale. Working with big clients. I just got a new client with Hugo Boss. I was delivering Hugo Boss on Hootsuite. It was a massive job. Big nights out of the pub. Kick at the office, so late night bus home at like 2, 3 in the morning. Got paid once in London. Took me a few months to figure this out. So the first weekend I was living high on the hog. By the end I was beans on toast. I was 28 years old, living and working in London, England. Life was happy-go-lucky. I was having a good time. These headaches started continuing, persisting, and getting worse over a few weeks. Painkillers like candy for them. My head was pounding. So on the tube one day, the tube takes a zigzag around London, lumbering towards Nine Hill Gate tube station on the District line. That's a slow roll at the best of times. Headaches were so bad, my vision turned starry and I saw spots. Slowly started to fade to black. It was a race to who could arrive at the station first, me or the blindness. Arrived at Nine Hill Gate tube station, stepped onto the platform. Mind the gap. And the lights went out. I couldn't see a thing. The station's swirling around me. Now, Cindy, I want to ask you. All of a sudden, you're thrust in depths of blindness. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you do?
Let's see. I think I'm scared.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Right? And I'm trying to project without having this exact experience. I'm scared. So that's what I think, but that's also, I think, what I feel. What do I do? I'm going to sit down.
That's a good response.
I'm going to sit down.
I was close. I froze like a statue. And I thought, I'm going to think my way out of this problem, right? I did not. After the longest 3 minutes of my life, my vision comes back. And I carry on my day. But the next day, I go storming back into A&E. Now in the UK, A&E is like ER in Canada, United States. I'm like, what's going on with me here? I was blind on a tube station in London. This is not normal. They ran some more tests, and again, they thought it was vertigo. They sent me home. On the way out, they told me I could always get my eyes checked by an optometrist. Okay, sure, why not? Next day, the heads came back with a vengeance, and I found myself in Mr. Patel's chair. He was midway through routine exam when he stops the exam. Excused himself in the room, comes back a few minutes later with a sealed envelope which he hands to me. He told me to go directly to Moorfields Hospital, which I did. Well, Sydney, and listeners, tell a lie. I stopped at home first to grab a Jack Reacher book by Lee Child, a phone charger and a bite to eat. Then I arrived at Moorfields Hospital, handed the sealed envelope. They ran the same test there again, then escalated me up to Charing Cross Hospital. We're getting somewhere. I'm thinking, this is positive. This is a good thing, right? Now, it turns out, I had a dangerous buildup of pressure in my brain caused from a non-cancerous cyst in my pineal gland, causing the pressure amount of my brain, causing the vision issues, causing the headaches. Mm-hmm. Now, it turns out, I required emergency brain surgery tomorrow. Now, it turns out, the world's about to change altogether. So after a frantic back and forth with folks in Canada, the last text message my mom received reads, I'll see you soon, Mom. Think I'll have a new haircut next time I see you. And love, Dan. That message reads cool, but I was, this could be it for me. So let's not go like a little punk. Mm-hmm. Mom's in the air flying to London on June 21st, 2014. I'm on the operating table. Something goes horribly wrong. I have a massive bleed in the brain, a brain hemorrhage. Then the cyst burst when they operated. So Mom lands and finds I'm in critical condition. Was in a coma for 4 weeks. Was in out of consciousness for months after this. Then it's pretty dicey, touch and go. When all of a sudden I was learning to walk, talk, and smile again. Mm. That's where everything kicks off, Sydney.
Yeah. From a headache.
Yeah. Went pear-shaped on me pretty quick there.
Yeah. So where in that process from where you started the story to where you left off, where was the hope? Where was the fear? What was the balance of that for you?
Well, going into brain surgery, I'm like, at least we know. Well, first of all, I'm like, at least we know what it is. Mm-hmm. Because not knowing was really driving me up the wall. I was like, this really is painful. Like blind on a tube station in London, this is not like a nothing thing, right? This is a big issue. So I was happy we were going to have brain surgery. I mean, brain surgery is like complicated. It's dangerous. You may die. Mm-hmm. And on the table, the cyst burst when they operated, they think. So I had a massive bleed on the table. So I medically induced coma for 4 weeks. And I woke up 4 weeks later being told, this is what happened to you. I'm trying to talk, but I can't talk. My vocal cords were fried from the tracheotomy. I go, get me a pen and paper. Right on the pen and paper, I go, get me the hell out of here. And show it to my brother Cam, and I go, you, get me out of here. I was a Canadian living in London. Wasn't sure this was covered with a medical system. Like, this looks expensive to get out of Dodge. Let's get the hell out of the stand. And he's looking at me going, your one eye's wonky as hell. My leg had atrophied in the coma. I couldn't walk. Tubes coming into my body like I was dead to rights. He told, hey, Dan, you had a brain hemorrhage. Well, this isn't my life. I was healthy last week. I was in Lithuania the weekend before this. Yeah. Where I'm certain the outcome would have been different,
Right.
Actually, to be fair, much to my surprise, Lithuania is a very beautiful and modern country. Vilnius is a gorgeous city. I was just checking it out in the summertime. But healthy, active guy yesterday to waking up 4 weeks later from a coma being told this is what happened to you, Dan. This isn't my life. I was healthy yesterday. And then the slow realization of no, this is your reality right now. But it's not what happens to you, but what you think about it that matters. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And that's Epictetus. It's not mine. This is a Stoic philosopher. And I knew that what happened to me was not good, but I knew that I was still alive. I could be dead. I should be dead by all accounts. I wasn't trying to make it out of the situation with the coma. But I'm alive. And now it's what I think about it that matters more than what happened to me. So I got to work rehabbing. Wasn't an overnight thing. There was a few days where I was like, woe's me, this has been unfair. But never went down what I call the pity spiral. The woe's me. This isn't fair. I was like, I said, I wish this didn't happen to me. That was the worst thing I said about this. But never used it as an excuse. Never was a victim about it. I wish this didn't happen to me. It was the worst I said about it, and then I got to work. Chop wood, carry water is what I call that. So I got to work and get in the wheelchair 5 minutes faster than the week before. 45 minutes, not 50. Next week I had to try to do 40, not 45. Now 45 minutes going in the wheelchair full send is a long ass time. That's a long time to try and get in a wheelchair. Every muscle in my body crying, aching, tearing, groaning, screaming for 5 minutes faster. And these little games in the hospital got me improving my lot, improving myself. 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Incrementally ratcheting stuff. I'm making a game of this. I'm having fun. Fun is a very loose term here, but I'm making a game of it if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matter. So I got to work with that. And slowly came to terms with what happened in my life, and my reality was shattered, right? I was working in tech, up and coming job, lots of friends, pretty social guy, and then all of a sudden, I can't walk, talk, or smile. The way the nurse got me talking again, Cindy, one more story and I'll let you take back over. The tracheotomy was fried from the vocal cord, from the breathing tube, and the tracheotomy I had, so they're like, he may not be a talker. In fact, I told my parents he probably is not going to be a talker anymore. I had a Kiwi nurse, and she was a mean old gal. Took me down to the park, some kids playing football, soccer across the bar. She goes, Dan, those kids across the park, they don't think you're good enough to talk, Dan. They don't think you're good enough to talk. And I found out pretty quick that's a trigger for me. And I yelled across the park some profanities I'll spend using today. Just say I found what motivates me, I'm proving you wrong. I'm not good enough to talk. Jog on, bruv. And I yelled across the park some garbled words, but I got my voice back. Proving you wrong was a huge motivator for me. So it's all these little games within the games and finding what works for you and motivating and leveraging that part to make yourself better than yesterday. But it was a dogfight out of the gate.
I love that. I share a lot. My journey was health related as well, walking through Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I put cancer and fun in the same sentence, which most people don't know how to do because cancer usually isn't fun, but I chose to make it fun. And I think you said something extremely important and profound there. The other thing I really want to explore too is something else that you just said, and it was about being better than yesterday. Our society has, in my opinion, this desire to be perfect, right? To obtain this goal that may or may not ever be obtainable. And I can't remember who said this to me or where I read it. So it's not that I don't want to give credit, and it wasn't mine, but it was this concept of we always say you can be whoever you want to be. And instead of saying be whoever you want to be, how about just be a better version of who you are? And I wonder how much that statement resonates with you, with the better than yesterday concept. Can you talk a little bit about what that means to you of just being better than yesterday?
Yeah, great question, Cindy. I think better than yesterday for me means, look, today it was not a good day. It took me 15 minutes to get in the wheelchair. Tomorrow, can I beat that? Next week, can I beat that for 5 minutes? 5 minutes is not a big step, right? 5 minutes is only 5 minutes. I call this aim small, miss small, and ratchet.
Hmm.
So I aim for a small hittable target that I know I can hit. Once I hit that target, that's the ratchet point. A ratchet's like you know what a ratchet is? It locks you can't go backwards. It goes, that's the new baseline. So 5 minutes faster, right? So 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Now at this point, it took a bit longer to get to the 5 minute mark to this point, but it's 5, 10 to 7, whatever. But like aim small, miss small, and ratchet is the game plan here, right? But better than yesterday's got me through this because I am so dead to rights here. I can't do anything properly. It takes me 45 minutes to get in a wheelchair. But if I can beat that by 5 minutes next week, that's a big win for me. Mm-hmm. Next week, 5 minutes faster than that's a big win for me. Life's about these small, attainable goals. I have big moonshot goals that I've hit, but like I get there by small, consistent action. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet. Don't aim to conquer the world tomorrow, but start the process of doing that one step at a time, one failure at a time. And failure is so important for this. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. So I want to talk about failure for a second if I can. Mm-hmm. I used to shower with a bath mat in London. Probably a bit of an overshare, but here we go.
You can't overshare on this podcast, Dan, just so you know.
All right, cool. And I'd hang up the bath mat in the shower to dry at the end of the day, and it was a symbol that I wasn't good enough to shower. And it drove me nuts. I'm not good enough to shower. I need this bloody bath mat to hold me up here. This is insane. One day, you know what? I don't need this bloody bath mat. I told my parents, no, Dan. The doctors and nurses said you need the bath mat to shower. You could slip and fall. This could be dangerous. No, I'm not using the bath mat anymore. Next day, I didn't use the bath mat. And guess what? I was just fine. So I retired the bath mat. Used to walk with a cane. Came back to Vancouver for a Christmas trip. Forgot the cane in London. Guess what? I was just fine, so I retired the cane. Used to wear an eye patch. Used to wear contact lens. Went to safari in South Africa. I thought dust and dirt would get in my eyes, so I retired the contact lens. By challenging the status quo and risking failure is how I improve and remove that glass ceiling, right? Challenge the status quo where I can be. Risking failure is how you get there. Now, don't do something stupid and hurt yourself and blame, Dan told me to do this on the podcast. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, if you're not failing, what the hell are you doing here? You're not risking failure. You're not stretching yourself to what you can actually be. I'd rather you overstretch, fail, and then come back to a point where it's like higher than you could be than just sit mediocre your whole life. I challenge you to push yourself because I've pushed myself to the max and I've broken a few times. But like I've gotten there and I recalibrate after that break. But if you don't risk it, what are we doing here? If you don't risk failure, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. That's what better than yesterday means for me. Risking failure.
So it would still take you 50 minutes to get into the wheelchair, if not longer.
Yeah, and now I'm like cruising around, walking without sticking an eye patch. It's like, look where I'm at now. But like I got there by like 5 minutes faster. Mm-hmm. That mindset of like I can be better than I was yesterday is how I got here.
Mm-hmm. And yet we look at people who break records by 1/10 of a second, and it's amazing. And there's a lot of us that spend a lot of time, I think, in that failure state because the goals are so huge and unattainable.
Like I accomplish massive goals, but I get there by taking one step at a time. So the chasm to the next step to reach the goal is so small, I know I can hit it. And if I fail, that step is too big. I make the step smaller. Aim small, miss small, right? It's the first part of the process. Mm-hmm. The goal, to reach my goal is so small that I know I can hit it. Once I hit it, I ratchet up to that point. That's the new baseline. The ratchet can't go backwards. But like that's how you attain big goals you attain big audacious goals by small consistent progress over time that compounds over time. Don't tell me you can't do it. Aim small, miss small.
How important on your continued journey were people around you to this message versus you digging deep to continue?
Yeah, no, they were huge. Like I had family come over from Vancouver to be in London, living with me for 3 years in London to help me get on my feet. Friends and family in London were amazing. My aunt and uncle were great there too. Visited me in hospital, booing me up, cheering me on. You're doing so well, Dan. You're doing so well. Yeah, I'm showing that I'm trying hard, but I could try harder. My friend Claire Ferguson, Fergie as I call her, came down to London to visit me before she went to Scotland. Cheer me on. She's a good friend from when I used to work at BC Hydro. She goes, Dan, you're doing so well. You're happening so well. I'm like, yeah, but I could try harder. I can make it seem like I'm trying as hard as I can, but like I could try harder. I knew it inside. I could try harder. She went to Scotland for a week. She came back down and was walking when she came back down. I was in a wheelchair when she left, and I was walking when she came back down. Albeit on the Zimmer frame, which is like a 4-post walker you kind of lurch forward on. I wanted to prove her right. I'm worthy of the praise that you're giving me. That drove me beyond anything else. Motivation comes from 3 parts. Proving you wrong, for me at least. Proving you wrong, proving you right, and service. Mm-hmm. They're not mutually exclusive. You can bridle all 3. The more you can bridle, the further and faster you can be pulled together towards your goal. They're not mutually exclusive, but don't judge your motivation. Proving you wrong is not a happy place to have motivation come from, but it works. Mm-hmm. Proving you right is more honorable, I guess, and service is probably the most honorable. But don't judge the motivation. Whatever makes you go, go. Because motivation is like riding a wave for surfing. The waves aren't coming all the time. You got to ride the waves that come. But if you can capture those waves and get those horses pulling you right in the direction, it's like a million analogies to tell the story, but hope that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Do you find that sometimes you vacillate between what motivates you? I mean, I'm a very competitive person, so I love that you can't do it, right? I love when somebody tells me I can't do something because I am going to prove you wrong. That's fun for me, right? But I also find that if I sit around and wait for that challenge, I don't always get it. So moving in between all of those different things, whether it's service, proving right or proving wrong, I think has helped me. Do you find that you move through those?
Oh, for sure. And I think underlining all that is discipline. I'm very disciplined with my life, and discipline's always there, no matter the motivation, right? So I rely on discipline mostly. When a wave motivation comes, then I ride that wave harder than usual. But discipline's always the baseline that I aim for. It's the ratchet point where I'm like, no, this is what I do. So like, for instance, this morning I don't want this to sound like a humble brag, but I exercise a lot for vanity, from vanity to sanity. It's moved from more saneness to like than vainness. Okay. I'm still vain. Don't worry. I'm still vain.
Great.
But I do push-ups in the morning, right? And I do at least 200 push-ups a day. I'm like, should I do the push-ups before the podcast? I'm like, yeah, because I do push-ups before I do something in the morning. So I do my push-ups this morning, and I'll take a nap this afternoon and do another 100 push-ups after that. But that's my ratchet point. That's my ratchet point for the day is I'll do that. That's my discipline lever. When motivation strikes, then I'll do much more than that. I'll do maybe up to 300-400 push-ups. But like, the baseline is this. This is the status quo. I owe those things no matter what. No matter what. That's the discipline part of me. Discipline's so key for this.
And you never miss a day?
No, that's not true. I miss the days occasionally.
Okay. Where do you find the forgiveness? I think this is really important for people, right? Who aren't perfect in their discipline. Where do you find the forgiveness in yourself to go, that's okay that I didn't get it done today?
Look, I'm a human being and I make failures like everyone else. I've got a Whoop strap, which I love. This isn't a product placement for Whoop, but I really think this has helped me get myself into fitness shape. And I base everything on my rest and recovery from the day before. So if I sleep poorly and get a bad recovery, if I've been drinking, for instance, get a red recovery, I can get a pass. For like 1 day a week, I can get a pass. But every other day I owe those, and then I owe more the next day if I do that.
Okay.
But I can get a day off, but I owe more the next day if I do that. So that's my rule with myself. That's the discipline part, right? No one's keeping track of this except me. But like I strain myself like with this no matter what. Like my 10-1's my minimum for the day, strain. I'm not sure if you're familiar with strain, but it goes up to 21. 10-1's deemed moderate, 14-1's deemed not strenuous, but like 18-1's the highest one, the all out. And I owe 10-1 every day no matter what. That's a no matter what thing I owe.
Okay.
Unless it's a really bad red, then I will give myself a pass. But the next day's got to be at least 14-1. The games within the games are always there with me, Cindy. It's a bit of a tiresome thing, but it keeps me on track, which is helpful.
No, I love that. You know, I'll share with you, it's actually a really simple story in this, but there's a group that somehow I found or got invited to on Facebook where they do challenges to raise awareness for suicide. Okay. And one of the challenges was X amount of push-ups, right, in a month's time. Another one was X amount of miles. And I decided to do the push-up one, and it doesn't matter, and I can't remember the number that I had committed to. And I told nobody about it. The challenge was really purely for myself. And what I found is there were many days I didn't do what I calculated I needed to do on the day to reach the goal easily. And I found that I had a couple days left in order to meet the challenge. And I was doing push-ups all all day long. Like, I'm like, okay, I have a meeting. I got to do a few push-ups, and I'm going to eat and I'm going to do a few push-ups. But you know what? I got that number done, right? And I didn't do it in the way that I had originally intended, but I hit the goal. And I think as I listen to you, right, I think there's a really important message here about accomplishing something, but also giving grace on days that are just less than or more than what you expected them to be, because that happens, right? You're not always, the 10-1 isn't always there.
And like with the brain injury, my rest is my most important thing. That's number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So I sleep poorly, my recovery's crap. Like I got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I've pushed through and failed in the past. Now I get there by trial and error. So I've failed, and that's why I know I have to respect the battery, because I've tried pushing through when it's red, and I'm like, this doesn't work. Okay. Everything else is compromised for the day if I do this. So I got to respect the battery. So it's a trial and error process, but like now I've refined it to a point where like aim small, miss small, and ratchet. Like I know where I'm at. I know where I can push myself and what the failure point is actually by stress testing it to the max. If you don't fail, what are you doing? You should be failing your life. Not always, but like occasionally in your life to know that you're just pushing up against the limits. Like I wasn't quite able to do that, but like I'm going to recalibrate and come at this again and redo this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about trial and error. It's about pushing yourself to limits and just respecting your battery.
Are you grateful for this gift, Dan?
Yeah. I've changed my life entirely since this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was a very chill, lackadaisical guy. No real direction, no real focus, no real drive. I mean, I tried hard, but I didn't show I tried hard. If I was one of those guys, this seemed like it came easy to me, but I secretly tried hard on the service. Now it's like, I don't care if you see me caning it down the hill. I'm not sparing the horses here. I've realized that like life, I've heard this statistic that I'll share with your group today. The odds of you being a human being are 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. You're more likely to win the lotto 10 times in your lifetime than you have life in the first place. You get to do this. I'm only Dan McQueen because Blip was in my DNA. Without it, it wouldn't be me. And I wouldn't trade myself for the world. All the struggle, the strife, the joy, the sorrow, the tears, the laughs, the fears, the cries, the love, the laughs. I've got to experience all that. And what a gift that's been. I've had to earn a lot of that, again, to appreciate that after the fact. But like, I got to do this. You want to whinge about something in your life? Like, hey man, you get a chance to do this, and you want to waste this life whinging about what could have, should have, would have been. Like, no, live the life you got. I'm not going to settle for anything less than what I'm capable of doing, and I get there by small, incremental improvements that compound over time. Aim small, miss small, and ratchet.
So the storytelling that you're so brilliant at, as you share, is that a newfound talent?
Yeah. I did this course on speaking called Stage Academy with this guy called Vin Gang.
Uh-huh. I watch him.
Yeah, he's good. He's got a really good Stage Academy. It told me the secret of good storytelling. And like, I really leaned into this. The reason I'm telling you the story is because all these stories that I've got now, like queued up. Now, I'll be honest with your group here, Sydney. Like, those whimsical expressions and lessons learned now. Like, at the time, I'm trying to survive.
Mm-hmm. I'm
just saying I'm not giving in. I'm not surrendering, not throwing out the white flag. I'm like, I'm going to fight. Now I've got these whimsical expressions like, well, control the controllables, do this. And it's all for this presentation, for the podcast, for the stage. At the point of contact, I'm trying to survive. But I've refined my craft because I've done probably over 100 podcasts by now, been on maybe 30 stages. I've told the story so many times that I know it works when you lean in, when you get a laugh, when this works, and practice. How you get better at things is just, through me at least, I do copious amounts of work. And it refines over time because it has to. Not because I've got some great structure in place to refine it, because I've done it like 130 times. So I know how the story works and where to lean in with this and make it go and make it laugh. But it's work. I know that hard work works. My dad instilled me this life lesson early in life. I sucked at math in high school. Like many people, the math program's a joke. Why am I learning about algebra? Why can't I just learn my taxes and like, that's it, call it a day. Whatever. You can't change the system. At least I can't now. I'm not going to bother with that now. I went through this, you can do this shit too. So it's fine. You got to deal with it. But like, I struggle with math so much, right? It's like, Dad, I'm just not good at math. He goes, well, we're going to go to tutorials then. Twice a week and get a math tutor. Like, oh, this sucks. But I got through math. Mind you, math 11, so like I wasn't doing the hardest math, but like I passed math, like a 60, but like I got through it. And I got into university, and like because of that work I put in. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't put the work in, but I got the result because I put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Spelling. I used to be a rubbish speller. I'm still a rubbish speller. Without spell check, I'd be useless. My emails are littered with red underlines, all this stuff. Improve this texture here. Grammarly is a godsend. Thank you. But I'd be like, I'm not a good speller. He goes, well, we're going to practice spell tests. So he practiced me and like improve my lot. I knew that if I put work in, I can improve my lot. It's this mindset of optimism, of hope, of I can improve myself if I put the work in. I believe that in my core. Because I've seen that in my past. It's been mapped out for me. Past success, past failure. Well, I didn't prepare enough for this. You don't plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of vibe, right? Hard work works. And it's, when you haven't been working hard, it's going to be abrasive. It's going to be a change of pace for you. But like, that is how I've gotten through this process. By one step in front of the other, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. And I'm head and shoulders where they thought I'd be above, right? I walked back into my old ICU intensive care unit ward with a cane and an eye patch, like probably 7 years ago. I walked back in, and my head doctor burst into tears because there's no way she thought I'd be walking into that ICU unit. And now I'm like 10 times better than that person. But the fact that I walked back in, she was so flabbergasted that I'm still alive, that I'm still walking, and I've got my life back together, at least some semblance of form of it. I want to be the hope that you can point to, be like, well, he did it. Why can't you? One last story, and I'll let you take back over, Sydney. I did these brain scans a couple years ago at this clinic called Health Tech Connect in Surrey, BC, Canada. It was gel cap on your head, ask you questions like lamp, microphone, coffee mug, mouse, hockey stick, painting. See if your synapses fire or not. My results came back as average. I've had 2 emergency brain surgeries. Average is pretty good. I read this as I'm shockingly average. Average. Have you seen what I've been through? There ain't no way I'm average. Stuff that. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that average is pretty good. Average means no better or smarter than any one of you here today. I've just been driven to go forwards, toes over the nose of my board, riding this wave down. I'm average. And look what I was able to accomplish. If you get the mindset right, if you get yourself going the right direction, pulling the right levers, you can accomplish almost anything. But I'm average, right? Don't make this seem like I'm bigger or better than anyone here today. Like, I'm just an average guy who's decided I'm not going to give in to this. And every day I wake up, decision a day, I call this. I decide I'm fighting the battle for that day. Check mark the day for the end of the day. Next day, check mark the day there. One day at a time, one step at a time.
Dan, the way you tell your story and give quiet, and I call it quiet advice. You're not, you don't scream it from a mountaintop. You do something very unique that I want to commend you and recognize you for. I've been in a space of speaking in different levels for a very, very long time, and I've heard a lot of people stand from the stage, and there's very few that draw me into a place that I can live in the space that you're in for the moment in time that you share. And you do that. And it's a very unique gift, whether it was Vin or the hard work or the combination of all the things that you've walked through that got you there. There's something really, truly special about that ability that and this probably sounds okay to you, and some people may have trouble with, but I'm actually very grateful for what you've been through to be able to do that and bring those of us in a way that oh my gosh, I'm almost emotional here, that sometimes we just need to hear those things and be a part of your life with you.
Thank you for saying that. Like, that really means a lot. Like, I really share my heart from the stage and from the podcast. I try to tell these stories in a fun, jovial way now. Like, going through this, I was not jovial. I was, this is fucking bullshit. Like, this is ridiculous. But like, I pushed through the point. And I feel like, what a shame it would be to leave these lessons learned on the sidelines of life. I can tell you what I've been through, what I've learned through this process, because it's so valuable. Unless you've been through the walk through the valley of the shadow of death, like, you don't know. But I've been through there twice, and I can tell you, hey, no, this is left here. Don't take a right. This is a fake on the map. It's a false map. We need the compass, not the map, but the compass. It always points towards true north, right? The mindset is so key for this. The stoicism is so important. Control the controllables. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matters. Can I share one story about Tooting Broadway that might open up some eyes for some listeners as well?
Please.
So have you been to London, England, Sydney?
I have.
Have you been to Tooting Broadway?
Have I been where?
To Tooting Broadway.
No.
It's not on any tourist map, that's for sure. Tooting Broadway is an area in South London. An area they call up and coming. Think loud sirens, drugs, gangs. It's dirty, it's hectic. And boy, is it busy. I'm walking with a cane, I'm walking with an eye patch. After 4 months in a wheelchair, I'm literally Bambi on ice. I turn the corner to walk on the high street for the first time. Immediately get slammed into by someone. I stagger back a few feet. Someone else scurries past me on the right-hand side. I thought I was done with the rats. Someone had been stabbed on the sidewalk over here. I'm thinking, it's a pretty wild place to learn to walk. After a few days, I was thinking, this is the worst place to learn how to walk in the world. Can't they see I'm trying to walk here? Can't they see I'm trying here? And then one day my perspective shifted. Maybe this isn't the worst place to learn how to walk in the world. Maybe this is the best. If I can walk here, I can walk anywhere. And Tooting Broadway didn't change, right? It went from the worst to the best in my mind, and my mood reflected that. What are you looking at in your life you're convinced is the worst? Convinced is the absolute worst. Hey, maybe it is. We can find a way to turn down the suck a little bit, shift that perspective a little bit. Iron Mike Tyson famously said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Now, your punch may not be a brain hemorrhage, right? Facts. Facts. But it will be a job loss, a breakup, a diagnosis for you, a loved one. You will take that punch in the mouth, how you respond. I'm offering a compass, not a map, but a compass. It always points towards true north. We'll look at things like mindsets, perspectives, and hacks. Hacks about you and your team. It's better than yesterday, tomorrow. My name's Dan McQueen, and the reason why I told you that story about learning to walk and Tooting Broadway is when you change the way you look at the world you look at changes. And you don't need a brain hemorrhage to understand that. So I share that story to showcase the perspective, the mindset. That's my pitch for my speaking business. And it kind of showcases the journey we'll go through with my speaking, with my lessons learned. And I heard this I was at this conference a little while ago, and I heard this lady talk about, she was pitching herself as a speaker, and she goes, I'm a academic, resilient speaker. And I'm like, all right, cool. And she goes, I didn't say anything. I just listened. She goes, I don't think these resilient stories are really, they work in the corporate space. And I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't say anything. I'm like, if you're going to climb K2, would you hire, and you had money for one aid on the journey, would you hire an academic who's written about climbing Everest twice, or K2 twice, or would you hire the guy who's climbed Everest twice? Now, I don't know how you're going to vote, but I would pick the guy who's climbed Everest twice every time, every day, and twice on Sundays to help me up that mountain, because he's been through the journey. He's not talking about what should be, what could be. He's talking about what I've lived through and done. I think the lived experience is so important to share this lesson, because I'm not talking about it from some highfalutin tower above resilience. I'm walking through the back alleys and stumbling through the streets, the dead ends. Every day, always, forever. I've been through this stuff. I can tell you this is a right here, no, this is a left. This is a fake here, go around the next bend. It's a decoy. I've made those mistakes. These lessons are so in me, they're so bubbling up from the surface that I want to share these lessons learned, because I can help you navigate this change. At least show you some perspective that can help you navigate it yourself.
And we're going to leave that thought with all of our listeners, because I don't want to cloud anything that Dan has just left us with an opinion or a thought. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to be right back. The Positively Altered Podcast with Dan McQueen. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered Podcast. Stop. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. And we are back. This is Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. We are here with Dan McQueen. We left you with some amazing thoughts, but now we're going to jump into some random fire questions. Oh, random. They are random. Rapid fire. You know what? I usually say rapid fire questions, and Dan, there is nothing rapid fire about these because I always have a comment or a thought afterwards. So we'll go with random fire questions.
Okay,
Ready?
good.
All right, here we go. What is one place on earth you have never been you'd love to see?
Egypt, the pyramids.
Ooh, cool. That would be fantastic. I'll go with you. You like how I just invited myself on the trip?
You're welcome to come, Sydney.
Okay, thank you. Whether that's true or not, right? I just invite myself where I want to go. What is the weirdest food combo that you eat?
I love steak and grapefruit for breakfast with eggs.
So is are you one of these guys that you like all the food touching and then the grapefruit is with the steak and the eggs, or does it have to be separate?
No, the grapefruit is separate. But the eggs and steak are made up together into like an open-faced sandwich.
Okay.
And then I eat that, and I finish up with the grapefruit to clean the palate. It's a wonderful combination. I recommend you try it out. Steak, eggs, and grapefruit. Wonderful.
You know what? I will actually do that. We get a lot of weird combinations. Actually, somebody had recommended peanut butter and bacon, which I vowed never to try. But this one I'm open to. So I will accomplish that at some point during a breakfast to see how it goes. I love that. All right. You only have 3 apps that you can keep on your phone. What do you keep?
WhatsApp. And I don't know about Instagram. WhatsApp for sure because it communicates with people. Instagram and YouTube.
Okay. Are you all over Instagram and YouTube? Do you love that?
I like YouTube. Instagram can be punted. YouTube for sure. We'll just do 2. Instagram is I could leave it. I don't really need it. I just kind of use it because I'm trying to promote my business now, but I really don't like it that much.
Okay, that's fair. If you could swap your life with any cartoon character, who would you be?
Any cartoon character, eh? I always loved Spider-Man growing up.
Yeah?
So I think I'd be Spider-Man.
Okay.
I thought that was a pretty cool comic book back in the day. The old school Spider-Man, or maybe old school Batman.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So I didn't have any brothers, but my sister and I, we used to find the black towel and the red towel in the house, and we'd make our capes, and we would be Batman and Robin. I'm not sure why, but
One caveat. Zorro, actually, I'd be Zorro.
Okay.
I loved Zorro growing up. He was my favorite character. Old school Zorro, black and white. I'd walk around the house with a tie around my waist and a sword in my belt. Zorro would be who I want to be. I scratch those 2, but one of the 3 would be great.
Okay. Well, and listen, since it's your answer, it's your show, you can change your mind, whatever week it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's your privilege. If you were to create a new holiday, what would we celebrate?
I dated a girl from Lithuania back in the day, and she told me they have this lovely ritual, Day of the Dead. Now they have this in Mexico and in Slavic countries as well. I think a Day of the Dead's a pretty cool one that we don't have in at least North America, or at least in Canada and the United States. To honor those that have lived before you, your elders, your relatives. I think it'd be a really nice day to celebrate because it's not like a morbid thing, but like to kind of celebrate your roots and where you came from, because it's something that kind of gets glossed over. Like you don't realize how, like the odds of you being alive are so insane. Like my grandparents been on the boat coming over to Canada. Like it's just so many little things that happen that honor your past and where you came from. I think it'd be a nice day to celebrate. We already have that, but it's not really celebrated in North America.
I love that. All right, Dan, pick a day. We're going to do that. What day do you want your holiday to be on?
May 10th.
Perfect. All right. Julie, who's in the background, we're going to make May 10th that official day. We're going to celebrate that. We're going to have the weirdest calendar, Dan, when we're done asking everybody what holiday they want to celebrate, but I'm in. No more Hallmark holidays for me. They're all uniquely created and curated.
There you go.
Some of my favorite people in the world. All right, Dan. Lastly, what was your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
I loved your honest and openness about my story, and just loved how you reciprocated back what I was giving out. And it felt like a real conversation. It felt like a real true survivors telling the story about like how to get through change, and you just reciprocating that. And I appreciate you, Sydney. I really appreciate your candor and your openness on the podcast today. So thank you for being a real host and a real good person.
Well, you're very welcome, but really the pleasure was mine. How does everybody, I know you have a badass new website, as you've shared with me. So share it. Tell us how we find you, follow you, love you. Give us more.
Well, thank you, Sydney. It's McQueen Dan, MacQueen Dan.com. That'll be in the show notes. I'm McQueen Dan across the socials on Instagram and YouTube, Twitter as well. I'm not so active there, and LinkedIn, McQueen Dan. Connect there. If you listen to this podcast and you like what I'm putting down, love you to reach out with a message and just say, hey, I listened to the podcast. This is cool. This is crap. I use this. This is not useful for me. Like, just tell me how you feel about this. Feelings are so key for this. Like, what landed with you? What's the takeaway for you? And those will be all listed in the show notes. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, this has been absolutely great. If anybody wants to learn more about what's going on in our world, please check us out at drcindyspeaks.com or shoot us an email at hello@drcindyspeaks, and you can comment, good, bad, or ugly, about this as well. And we will share those comments with Dan if they come through us. Please also pick up the book, Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag, and leave me an Amazon review because, that's how we get things done is by good reviews. So we appreciate that here. And I will tell you, Dan, one of the greatest gifts I actually received today, which is my favorite thing about the podcast, is you touched my heart and you touched me emotionally. Off as we were taking the commercial break, I shared with everybody, you actually brought tears to my eyes. We walk this walk every single day. We inspire, we encourage. And yet the way you touched me with your story, I just haven't experienced quite yet on the podcast, and I'm grateful for the gift and will always remember and hope that this was not our last time exchanging information and stories and love. I will leave everybody here with those last thoughts, and I hope today has left you positively altered.